episode 8, where we meet Aquaman. Very simply, for a brilliant opening scene, I thought.
I mean, yes, that opening scene also has Ivy in underwear.
Yeah, so it's kind of fan service-y, is that fair to say?
A little, yes.
It's kind of funny to see them doing their heist like underground, and then there's just this lovely speedboat that Psycho's like chilling on, right at the top, and yeah, like in the swimwear and underwear and stuff. And I mean, my whole favorite.
I love
bit,
Clayface's Aquaman.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
I am the Aquaman!
The bit I forced my wife to watch with me, and when I rewound it, was to show Aquaman high-fiving a dolphin. The dolphin jumps out of the water, just high-five him after one line, and goes back down quickly. It's like, yes, that's how you should write Aquaman. Like the best Aquaman I've seen since Batman: The Brave and the Bold.
It was after a your mum joke as well, but said in a pretentious way.
It wasn't even a great joke. It was just a high five. A dolphin jumps out casually. I just loved that. The whole opening bit was brilliant. I thought it was just hilarious.
But yeah, this episode is where we finally get something actually moving forward on the overarching plot of Harley trying to join the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, like my main note of this was like, you know, proper drama between Harley and Poison Ivy, and the main.
They have a proper lovers spat. Like, there's no other way of saying it.
Yeah, and it's quite well executed as well. I thought as well. Like you could kind of see like how those things happened and how they reacted at each plot point during the episode. You know.
I mean, you can understand Ivy's disdain for her, like Harley's insistence, even after everything they've been through, on still wanting to join the Legion of Dildos.
Basically, yeah.
No, not the Legion of Dildos. That sounds like an actual nice and useful place. And I wish them all the best in their protracted legal battle with the Legion of Doom.
Can I just say as well, I really love their casting choice for Lex Luthor for this show.
Who's the voice actor for that?
Oh, I'm going to murder his name. It's Giancarlo Esposito, who was, I think the thing he was probably best known for originally was Breaking Bad, but he's also in The Mandalorian as Moff Gideon, and he just does villains so well.
Yeah.
He's such a corporate brand of villain, and he does it so well.
I mean, this is what he's been like. This is what he did in Breaking Bad as the Chicken Man.
I love his delivery of, oh, and by the way, we stand. No, wait, that wasn't him. Was it him that said we stand for the anthem here, or was that someone else? He's definitely the one who said we don't validate in such an evil way.
It was really good in Dear White People as well. I think he was in that too.
Yeah. He's in a lot of good shows. Yeah,
definitely. The voice acting, the choice of voice actors throughout is fantastic. They really did well in like picking and they all go hell for leather with the voices. It's a joy to listen to. And so and it's kind of this dynamic with the Legion and Harley getting confused in terms of joining it, but it's not just about the Joker this time. Well, until the end, but we'll get to that point. I thought it's quite nice seeing this like weird, like corporate entity and her confusion and wanting to join it. Really, there's a lot of satire there too.
What are you meaning with her confusion?
Well, not confusion, but like being misguided in what she should be going for, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely a mistake that she wants to join it. I don't think she's confused as such, but yeah, she's definitely making a bad life choice, which is she is known to do, but this is a particularly bad life choice.
But it's kind of a satire as well. maybe I don't know if I'm overthinking it as well about like believing you have to go for certain life goals because that's the expectation, and those things actually being hollow things when you get there, and not what's actually good for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like she talks about how anybody who's anybody in the villainy world is in the Legion of Doom, and there's definitely a large portion of it that's this will show up Joker and or make him take me seriously, but there's also a current of, and this will make everyone else take me seriously as well, and this is what I need to be like a proper villain to join this, when actually she was doing just fine outside of it, and as soon as she joins it, it kind of ruins her, because it like makes her crew not properly her crew anymore, and like isolates her from her friend who keeps saving her life and helping her and things. Like, it undoubtedly makes her a much worse villain when she joins, but she thinks, oh, this is the way to be a proper villain.
It's so evil. The bit at the end where, like, they've set up that whole thing with Ivy, where they're trying to get to Ivy, and then deliberately telling Ivy that, which Ivy then, like, confides in Harley, and then they let her in anyway, which sets up Ivy to look like,
It's so heartbreaking as well, because like before Ivy tells her about it, she starts by trying to like convince her to leave, saying, "Oh, join me. We'll do this. We'll do this." And she's clearly like making so many concessions and like making so many offers that she doesn't actually want to make, just to try and get Harley away from this without telling her that the Legion doesn't really want her. And then when that doesn't work, like breaking down and doing that, and then them being like, "Lol, fuck you, we actually will take her."
A very, very sneaky and cleverly plotted plan, definitely.
Like, I'm not sure whether it was actually like fully planned from the start or not. Like, you see when Harley's fighting Aquaman, you see like an expression from Luthor that suggests that maybe he's like reconsidering things.
Yeah.
It's like, that's unexpected. She's actually pretty competent at this. Maybe we can change our plan here. So I think it's nicely unclear whether this was his plan from the start, just to fuck with their friendship, or if it's like his plan from the start was to try and get Ivy. That didn't work, and now there's this new opportunity of getting Harley, essentially of neutering Harley in their continued quest to get to Ivy.
A comment as well. Given the slightly more serious and more dramatic plot, which looks at their relationship really well, I thought a nice contrast was the B plot in this, and the monkey puss. Is it monkey puss? It's called. The whole issue of Borgman's sister
getting fused with an octopus.
Yes. That. Yeah, I'll be honest, I skip over that most of the times I watch this episode.
I find it really funny. It's just ludicrous, like the backstory and the emotion, and Dr. Psycho admit like helping them communicate with each other. It's like, no, the problem isn't that you made me into this like weird monstrous creature. It's the fact you weren't my brother anymore.
Yeah, it is incredibly bizarre, and like Psy and Psycho really sell the emotion at the end as well.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive given how ludicrous the situation is.
And Psycho just calmly saying partway through, like, "Okay, you're gonna have to explain this one to me." and then when Muriel escapes, it starts. Well, no, it doesn't escape. They release her. It's really sweet, and then predictably she starts destroying stuff in a horrible way, and just quite casually close the door and like move away. I just found that quite funny. But yeah, it's kind of like it's a very silly thing just to like balance out the main A plot, I think. But I find it quite funny. Yeah, and then the Joker's back again.
Such a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Sets up the drama and the main plot nicely though, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Episode 9, A Seat at the Table. So, yeah, more so for the Legion of Doom and the Joker's ominous return.
Ugh.
You say, I love the character as just a generic manipulative asshole. I think it works so well. Like, obviously, you want terrible things to happen to him. You roll your eyes at Harley falling for it. But it's kind of understandable that, like, given her past, that she's susceptible to it. But yeah.
Standing Ivy up for doing environment.
I know. She had a date with Ivy and she stood her up for the Joker, and it's upsetting. Also, this is my least favourite type of movie. It's the standard, like, sports film where someone gets a new opportunity and they get all full of themselves and they lose sight of what's important and all the people around them, and then they lose everyone, and then it's such a bad movie and a bad way to run an episode, and I don't like it at all. I think they've done about as well as they could with it.
With a terrible cliche.
With the terrible cliche.
On the other hand, we get a pretty decent Bane subplot.
Wait, it's not Bane, it's, what is it? Bang?
I mean, Todd does deserve what's coming to him over the party. I mean, let's be fair.
But isn't it like the Joker paying him to do it or something? But it is a pretty silly thing to do, to just antagonise Bane every week. You kind of should realise what's going to happen.
I'm fairly certain he realises what's going to happen.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the Joker, I'm talking about the guy he's paying.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I enjoyed stuff like that, and like kind of Ivy's like reaction, stuff like that, and the stuff around more than the main plot and as you say, the cliches and where the plot goes really. And then it's okay. I enjoyed that kind of like silliness and the humor and the relationships more than as you say, that kind of like arc they're doing for the character really.
I like that they make clear that the thing that's bothering Ivy, like they call back to her abandonment issues from the diagnosis that Harley gave her originally. Because she's like, you just seem so ready to abandon me, and that's what got to her. And that also, of course, plays in nicely later with her biggest fear basically being Harley abandoning her, putting her trust in someone and then having them break that and abandon her. I like the character consistency there and how it develops.
Yeah, that you're right. Actually, that's a really strong part of it, and the crew's reaction to Harley, and that does sum up Poison Ivy's character really well. And it's nice on a practical level. It sets up like Ivy doing like a lone attack, like on what are they called, planet-wide pavers by herself. So it sets that like quite enjoyable storyline in motion too. Yeah.
I also like that, like, what, like, was basically the final straw for her. Like, at the beginning, she was sort of willing to sort of give Harley another chance and stuff. But, like, what finally got to her was Harley getting back with Joker. And you can either read it as, like, early romantic stuff, or you can read it as just being so exasperated at your friend. But, I mean, I think it's an experience that most women have had, of just being so damn fucking exasperated with your friend getting back with that fucking asshole, who you've spent so much of your time and energy, like, dealing with either them dating them or the fallout of them dating them.
Yeah.
Feeling betrayed. Like, I think it's quite clear that she feels like her getting back with him is some kind of betrayal, and that doesn't have to be a romantic thing. Yeah, like, her being with him and the fallout of that had a direct negative effect on Ivy, and Ivy's put so much into, like, rebuilding her, and then she, like, as far as Ivy can tell, she's just gotten back with him, and that's the last straw for her. And it kind of goes nicely with later on when Harley finds out that Ivy's been dating Kite Man and how big her reaction is to that. Like,
Yeah.
that Ivy's dating someone that Harley doesn't approve of at that time.
I'd say it also just really goes into that whole thing again about the selective portrayal of everything in the media with this as well. Because, like, of course, the TV stuff focuses on the two of them kissing and skips any of the context around it.
Oh yeah, I missed that, but yeah, that's a really good point. Because like, if they filmed that, they would have filmed it being pushed out of the helicopter as well, and just been like, yeah, no, let's just ignore that bit for some juicy gossip.
Yeah.
It's a much smaller point than the points both of you have made, but there's a little bit more like corporate satire. I thought like the Legion of Doom is basically like a Pixar style. You know, got all these like treats and stuff to get you to work insane hours and do this like awful stuff. It just reminded me of those like faddish like companies and a bit more like corporate like mockery. I thought.
Then they're certainly the type who would like try and offer various scraps to stop the goons forming a union.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we do later see the goons unionizing and some former Legion of Doom members their response to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought it was a nice little portrayal of how boardrooms work, with like one person who everyone just sort of says yes to, no matter how ridiculous their ideas are.
Yeah.
The one thing that really stood out though, kind of goes against that, was that they all listened to Harley. I mean, clearly it was because she was the only one willing to stand up to Joker, and they were like, "Oh, thank God someone's doing it. I don't have to. I can just sort of say, you know, put it on her and say, oh, I'm agreeing with her." But it was a bit weird to have like the one woman in the room and have people actually listen to concerns and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point," and take those forward. Of course, that could also be part of the manipulation that they were planning.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, I wondered like how genuine that was, but yeah, for sure.
I mean, the fact that it is so out of place and that you wouldn't expect that with how otherwise it's a very stereotypical boardroom could be like a clue to the audience that isn't real.
So that takes us nicely on to episode 10, Bensonhurst, sorry. And we get to see her family, Harley Quinn's family. And yeah, it felt like a bit more of a maybe slightly more serious tone, especially with the flashbacks that happen like during the episode. And there's a bit more like character investigation of Harley Quinn's character. Although I loved the little sitcom credits, like when we're introduced to the family. I thought that was like a really nice touch. So we kind of got Harley Quinn's like family and kind of a deadbeat dad, and then obviously there's a crazy attack as well. So there's still some action in the episode, and then alongside that we have Ivy. We got Ivy like being imprisoned,
and Frank having to plan a rescue.
Yeah, more time with Frank for sure.
I don't think we've talked about Frank this whole time.
I mean, that's for a good reason on my part. I just don't like Frank.
Yeah, Frank's my least favourite of the crew, I have to say. Although I did kind of find his insistence of joining this like ecological terrorist plot like amusing, given that Frank's just a stationary plant. I can't really do that much.
I do like when he hired the pot guy.
Yeah.
To carry around his pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sums up my thoughts really on Frank.
I mean, Frank himself is a bit of a weed guy, so.
So, what did you guys think of this episode?
To be honest, this was a bit of a filler episode for me. It's not really.
It's a very filler episode.
Yeah, I think you can tell from our stuttering reactions to it. I mean, there was some stuff. I quite like the weird. Was like not figure skate, the gymnastics like skating like backstory was a bit random and interesting. And I mean, there was some quite funny moments like that baked guy trying to follow the conversation and all the craziness going on.
I like when Bane throws an office chair out of the window, nicely setting up all of the stuff with the small chairs going forward.
A chairgate. I like the line, "The mob are famous for being reasonable." I found that quite amusing. Yeah, it's a bit fillery. Because it's kind of like, unlike the previous ones where we go into a backstory, it didn't feel super revelatory. I mean, I did quite like her dad like stepping up to the mark, like briefly, or seeming to. I thought it was like a nice like character moment, and not something I really expected. All other than, even then, it's not really what it seems, is it? So
I will say, the person who took out the hit, fairly justified.
One thing I liked was the Goon review that was very much a piss take of Uber, and how if you drop to 3-star, they say you could get away with it, but you're basically dead.
And yeah, I forgot about Joshua being the one who put the bounce, who did the hit on Harley. Yeah, I forgot about that detail too. That was a delayed reaction, but yeah.
The evidence that Harley and Ivy still very much, like, even after all this has happened, like, each one is the one that the other one would still, like, go to first. So when Harley is telling herself in the mirror that she should go to the person who will always love her unconditionally, she immediately thinks that she's talking about Ivy. When it's like, no, I'm talking about your mum. Then when Ivy manages to get a plant, she sends it to get Frank to go get Harley to rescue her, not to go get Kite Man or the old crew or anything like that. It's to I like that they're still the one that the other one's thinking of first for stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Even though they're having this big fight.
Yeah, I mean, that bit works quite well. But yeah, like, I think the Harley Ivy stuff gets even better with the next episode. Harley Quinn Highway.
The Harley Quinn Highway.
And now we're talking.
Now we're back to the real episodes.
Yeah. It is a good pick me up. So so Harley apologizes and gets the crew back together to rescue Ivy, and they kind of agree, but they still make it clear they have a lot of issues with Harley.
I mean, they're not willing to come until they find out that Ivy is in danger, and then it's like, yeah, we'll come save Ivy, but then then you can forget it.
Like, why didn't you just say that sooner? You could have saved all these character moments and like long explanations. So that was quite funny, and you know, she happily accepts that as some kind of progress. Scarecrow's a good villain. I'm glad Scarecrow's in it a bit, and like his interaction with Ivy. And yeah, it's kind of a weird episode, this one. It kind of the plot goes all over the place. Like with it's got more like inside people's heads stuff, but this time it's Ivy's head.
Yeah.
They very much rush through the inside Ivy's head stuff. I mean, you can understand given that it's just part of the episode rather than basically the entire episode for Harley.
I think maybe they were so excited to get to the highway action scene. They just like rushed through it, knowing they had this amazing set piece coming up.
Sai gets some moments.
I love that when we find out that he's a transformer, it's because of the toy line, not because of the like any of the shows or whatever that came or comics or whatever that came from that. It's like no, there was a toy line back in the whatever he said it was, and that the American government took note of and like got this idea from to basically make Transformers.
That's really
absolutely
funny. And I love how they show the horrible, like, gory reality of what Transformers would be.
Well, yeah, there's nothing neat or anything about this. It's really proper body horror.
Oh, now I'm just imagining. Now I'm just imagining a live-action Transformers film, but it's made by Cronenberg.
That's basically what it is. It's brilliant. Just an absolute agony as it goes on. Like, It's one of those things that the more painful and gory you make it, the funnier it is, weirdly. And then, yeah, there's this amazing chase scene where we get a combination of seeing this ridiculous, fantastic highway has been created, and it's called action pieces. But there's a lot of character stuff at the same time as well. It's just a lot of balance and a lot going
This
on.
highway is a Sonic the Hedgehog level.
Oh, I was thinking of like Mario races when I saw it, but okay.
Oh,
Rainbow
Mario
Road.
Kart. Now
It's
I'm
Rainbow
just
Road,
thinking,
isn't it?
I've still not got round to playing. I've had it for years. I've still not got round to playing the Hot Wheels expansion for one of the older Forza Horizon games.
What really got me with it was the perfect video game ding when they went under the weapons cache and it dropped the weapon.
It's brilliant. You go from thinking like a highway, is that really like a key ambition, and then you totally get it like when it's there. Oh, it's brilliant.
And the aesthetic of the highway as well is just, it's really pretty and really nice.
The statue and the neon lights and stuff.
And Psycho there, like, taxpayer dollars paid for this?
Doesn't it have like a banner over with tax dollars well spent? No one.
Speak for yourself. My tax dollars would happily pay for something like this. I swear.
I don't know. I think if there was actually a highway like this, it might be responsible for quite a few deaths.
Oh, yeah, pish posh.
I mean, would it be responsible for more deaths than some highways that already exist in America? Let's be honest.
Probably not. I don't think there were any points where it puts lots of traffic in, like, to each other or anything like that. But it does have gaps where if you're not going fast enough, you'll just plummet to your death. So, it could go either way, to be honest.
I mean, several existing US highways, you just plummet to your death sometimes, just when the road under you gives out.
Yeah, they don't have the best maintenance record.
Yeah,
do
the
they?
best maintained infrastructure now.
It's kind of underfunded given the wealth they have. Just a very random comment. Just like obviously maybe almost too much going on, but it's a lot of fun. And there was a Clayface who said we are Empire Strikes backing it early on. I like that. I don't know why. That's like you can never have too many Clayface moments. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. All the crew get great moments. Ivy probably connecting with Harley and talking about her fear was great.
I like some of the. It's not really quite symbolism, but like some of the implications of what's happening in her mind. Like before you find out that Harley is her greatest fear, when they think it's her dad and like he's like opening up his mouth into this massive hole that she's falling, that like little Ivy's falling into, and Harley's trying to save her. It's like it's them thinking, oh, her fear's her father, but it's still actually her fear because she's saying to Harley, "You let me die," as she's falling. So it's still her fear of the fact that like she thinks she's where she is because Harley abandoned her, which was her fear, and that she's going to die as a result because the Legion of Doom has her. So like that's a nice little touch, and then like later Kite Man flying away as well, and Harley burning him, and the idea that like her relationship with Harley could like destroy everything else that's in her life. Like that's a nice little touch. I also love the thing like right near the start where they're talking about the goons, and it's like they aren't going to come at you one at a time. It's like, that's actually standard goon operating procedure.
Yep.
I always like ribs at stuff like that about how in so many things the bad guys just don't fight properly because if they did they might win.
Again, Joe, I need to get you to watch Venture Brothers sometime.
Yes, I know. Time is finite, but
one of my favorite comics, Order of the Stick, has a panel where they pick up a leaflet that the bad guys guards have, and it's got things like, if you hear a noise over here, look the other way, it's to distract you. Like, if we never have unannounced inspections if someone says they're doing this. Then, and like, it's just all these different tropes of how heroes get past goons of villains and like telling them what to do. It's great.
That's brilliant. Right, episode 12, Devil's Snare. So Scarecrow achieves his fear toxin, circulating plan, and even the trees are turning on them. Even the trees. And this is this weird, it's the only way I can describe it, weird set piece in the park with all these like evil trees.
Jim goes full cop.
Such full cop.
Uh-huh.
Whining because he's not allowed to tank people and then deciding to do it anyway.
And then we get the Phantom Zone, a nice little, DC thing. I guess brought in again. Yeah, and we get to see the heroes a little bit in this episode.
Why do they have such a hard-on for sending people to the Phantom Zone?
It's such a horrific, punishment.
Right?
It's not mercy. It's not, a reasonable way of getting around killing someone.
I mean, this is why I'm Team Fables.
I remember, I read there's a Supergirl run that I was reading with my kids where it's all set in the Phantom Zone, and it's one of the most terrifying settings I've ever read in literature, just as a Supergirl comic. I don't think they did it quite as well, in this case, but I just liked a little reference to it, basically. And the Queen of Fables is a lot of fun, I think, very well performed, and just that kind of the excess that comes with that character,
Yeah.
And again, I think they kind of earned it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I just love the beanstalk and the fantasy stuff being used for all these quite dark, murderous ends. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it's a good excuse for Kite Man to help out as well.
Kite Man's actually useful.
Yeah. And Harley finally actually finds out.
And is absolutely devastated.
Mm-hmm.
And which sets off amazing stuff in season 2, the kind of love triangle, which they're very strong. I mean, that's not a spoiler for anyone who's not seen season 2. They've basically very heavily talked about the show that in this episode. Yeah, so that's it. Very interesting, isn't it? Those relationships there.
Well, it nicely sets up before the love triangle, Harley actually coming to realise that Kite Man is good for Ivy, and that he's not such, he's fucking cringe, but he's cringe in a way that Ivy actually likes, and he likes her, and they're treating each other well, and it's actually a healthy relationship, and she should support it. And that's a really nice thing to see happen.
I mean,
I'm glad that it did happen, because it shows that the latest, firstly it shows that her earlier stuff isn't just being jealous or whatever, and that's not the arc, because it's the early stuff. There might be hints of jealousy in there, but it's genuinely just, oh my god, you're dating this guy. Seriously, this guy.
Yeah, why? Why are you dating him?
And then as she comes to realise that it's actually good for a friend, then she's fine with it. And then later it's oh shit, but I really, really like you as well.
But yeah, let's be real, a lot of the most adorable relationships, so much of it is so very cringe.
True.
And that's part of the charm.
Yes. And later on, I'm obviously rooting for Harl Ivy so damn hard, because they are an amazing fucking pair together. And also I always root for the gay shit. But I was genuinely upset at the fact that Ivy and Kite Man didn't work out because they'd done that relationship so well, and because of the great stuff they'd done with Harley coming to terms with it earlier.
But that's for the season 2 discussion.
But that's for the season 2 discussion.
But it is a 2-pointer that I've seen so many, especially in rom-com land, like so many like those things where the other person they're falsely with is like just such a tool. It's so irredeemable that it's good that like you kind of like understand Kite Man and the relationship and how it can be good for Ivy, as you say.
Yeah, they both work.
So give it so you'll be upset then about what happens to Ivy at the end of the episode.
I mean, yeah, obviously. How can you kill her? She is my queen.
So you know, my loathing for the Joker definitely increased, and that takes us onto the final joke, the last episode. So I kind of knew what happened to Ivy, having seen season 2 first, for various weird reasons before season 1. So I was shocked at how much they committed to like her, you know, being killed off and making it seem like that's actually what was going to happen.
Yeah, they really went with it. They even had Clayface using a very heartwarming speech from Star Trek, and Psycho being so moved by it that he actually looked past his hatred of Clayface.
Yeah,
I mean that shows you it's serious, right? The Star Trek speech, yeah. And it's quite. What I liked about this episode was that everyone gets captured except. It's nice I came back to Harley. I thought, as much as I've been enjoying the crew, it was good that she had the agency to confront the Joker and take back control. You know, or some semblance of control, anyway.
yeah, she had to be the one to do it.
Yeah, I like with the initial plan where they're giving him Batman, that before you find out exactly what the plan is, she's like, we're going to give him the thing that he wants the most. And you think, oh, this is going to be her, like, or something to do with her. And then, no, it's still Batman.
No, I mean, you know it's going to be Batman. Come on.
But then at the end, it is actually her that, like, he's been affected by, and the fact that like she's this person who he, you know, had some sort of feelings for, not sure exactly to what level, and like she rejected him, said no, and that's fucked him up.
Yeah,
that's true, but I still thought, oh, okay, Joker loves Batman. That's exactly what I got, like from that earlier moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, she had the perfect plan for distracting him, giving him Batman. Unfortunately for all involved, Clayface is not able to not sing along with someone else singing.
Yeah.
that was just an absolutely hilarious moment, watching that slowly happen and all of the others being like, oh dear fuck, what the fuck is he doing?
I like that Scarecrow like unmasks Batman, and we get like Batman being captured and unmasked, and Joker's like annoyed about it.
Yes.
And like they barely reference like who the real person are. Like that's a bit of the mythos of not really being that interested in. And so like he kind of loves the show and the act and the celebrity around it kind of thing.
I love the thing of, don't you think I would have done this years ago if I'd actually wanted to know who he was? Because like in various incarnations, Joker has tried to unmask Batman, but there's the kind of implication that he hasn't really been trying because really he wants to keep the mystery. I mean, obviously, in this incarnation, he just full on isn't even pretending. He just wants to keep the mystery. But there's the kind of implication that that's true in other incarnations.
It's the thing that the whole thing between them is this ongoing thing that they both enjoy so much.
Yeah.
And
like, this is literally the most important relationship in either of their lives.
Which is why the whole thing works so well, where, like, the Joker is desperately trying to prove even to prove to himself that all of Harley's stuff here hasn't got to him and that he's still the one in control gaslighting her. Like, it has got to him there, and he's trying to put on that whole thing of like still being the one in control.
Yeah, very very much that gaslighting thing, as you say, and it is kind of like it's a really thrilling end to the series where like Ivy comes back and Harley and Ivy like win basically, and like take back control and turn the tables on him. I think
There's a nice callback to the first episode where he says that you're nothing without me, where he again says you're nothing without me, and like when he's saying it before, he's saying it in a way of, come on, you're not a solo act, which at the time is like, no, she's not a solo act. She has Ivy and she's gonna have this crew and blah blah blah. But at the time, she's not really interrogating that because her choices are basically be with him or be on her own. Whereas now it's you're nothing without me, and she clearly has that support because she has Ivy right there, like beating him essentially, and it's like of course I'm not nothing without you. Because at the start it's like I'm not nothing without you. I'm my own person and like I can do things or whatever. And now it's I'm not nothing without you. I have all these other people who I actually rely on. Which, yeah, it's a nice callback to the first episode and how she's developed since the first episode.
Yeah.
There's definitely character development. That's a good point. It's like standing on your own 2 feet, but not in the sense of having to ostracize yourself and being with the right kind of people and using them in the right kind of ways. So yeah, that it's great character development for her, and it's great as a viewer as well. I think it's just totally being on her side in that moment. Despite all the chaos on the way there, the bloodshed and the craziness. That is a really good personal moment.
And then they completely destroy Gotham.
Oh yeah, that thing.
And then the Joker's line afterwards is like, "I've always supported strong female friendship." It's like, lol, no, dude, you haven't. And just highlighting the fact that what beat him was strong female friendship.
Yeah.
More than anything else. Can I say, I love the fact that he has a couple of horny tigers as part of his lair.
Yeah.
And that's how he describes them.
I mean,
you're gonna have a lair.
And it's like well, when she was trying to one up him before, she came with a tiger, and it's like, oh god, anyone could buy a fucking tiger. So then later on, when he's totally not trying to like do the same with her, he's like, I've got a couple of horny tigers.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. But yeah, I like that going on from this, they did commit to the ending and carry it forwards from there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like, so many shows would just sort of have things vaguely sorted out by the start of the next season.
Yeah.
Like, nope.
But yeah, satisfying. So you get a satisfying resolution, you get a nice closure, but you still get this cool thing that basically forces you to have to watch season 2.
Oh no, it's so terrible. I'm forced to watch season 2.
Yeah, in a good way.
It's just holding me hostage, making me watch this really interesting show that I love.
With fantastic characters.
I mean, so thoughts on season 1? I mean, it's clearly fantastic and a great series. I mean, I'm gonna rewatch season 2 ahead of that recording, so I'll be interested to compare them again, like having done the rewatches and see what my views are. But what a fantastic show. That's all I can say, really. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. I slightly prefer season 2 over season 1, but like,
yeah,
I love both of them.
Yeah, they're both really good quality.
It's so nice to watch a show that is kind of fluent in progressive thought and stuff like that. It's just a part of the world in a way that it's not quite yet in our world outside of certain circles. And it's just kind of refreshing to go into that world, even as, like, their world is fucked up in so many other ways.
Oh, so many
so
ways.
so deeply fucked up. And yeah, I adore their take on the anti-villain. I think it's done really well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed chatting about the series. I hope everyone listening has enjoyed this episode too. Let us know your thoughts, theories, favourite moments, etc. Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye bye, everyone.